Good. Here's your copy of the plan, so you'll read them easier on the screen.
Yeah, thank you. Got it.
Positive exit.
It's fine. Yeah. Because I did that as well.
Oh, you wanna watch like?
Oh,
Could I have handles on the door, or is this just an exit door?
No, they're actually entrance and exit doors. Yeah, I think that bar across is the handle.
Maryland online?
Yep, so,
There's only a handle on one side of the two doors, so it must be in and out. Intention.
sheet here, but give me one.
It's an old fashioned, never I see them.
No, it's really well. There we go.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order then. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Historic Resources Commission of the City of Albany. And my name is John Myers. I'm the chair of the commission. In attendance this evening is Commissioner Packer, Commissioner Pinckney, Commissioner Garrity, Commissioner McEnany, Commissioner Tobin, and Commissioner Kaplan is joining us electronically. We welcome all comments and certainly people who are viewing on YouTube. We welcome you as well, but we are meeting in person now, and that is going to be the norm going forward. And we certainly look forward to that as well. If there are any questions or comments from the general public, we just request that they be on the topic at hand that's under discussion, and that the comments be held to 3 minutes in duration out of consideration to others. This is a public hearing. We have not only do we have a quorum, we have everyone in attendance. So,
A super quorum.
yeah, super majority, I guess. So we have, this is a public hearing, so a decision will be rendered at this meeting on the case. And the case that we have this evening is 175 J Street. We have certainly viewed this project a few times and look forward to the further development of the project, and had a site meeting there as well. And my understanding is that they're seeking a certificate of appropriateness for the 3 door openings on the building. And Dan Hirschberg is here representing the applicant. So Erin, do you want to
Sure.
add more to that?
In the packet, I had, in the general notes, sorry, bouncing back and forth. Commissioners Meyer, Pinkney and Commissioner Kaplan did meet with Dan Hirschberg, the property owner, and the project manager on July 7th to conduct a site visit, which was a condition of the approval for the replacement of the windows on floors 2 through 5, where we looked at the first floor windows and the entry doors. We did provide feedback at the visit, which was included in the packet, about treatment for the door openings and the new doors to be installed in the secondary entrance on Jade Street, the main entrance, and then the Dove Street entrance. At that meeting, it was discussed about restoring the main entrance back to the original opening, which is the 2 side lights with the base panel, the tripart transom above, removing the fluted pilasters, which are actually like a fiberglass material, to uncover the original trim, where there's evidence within the transom. And then for the secondary entrance and the Dove Street entrance, it was recommended that the doors be replaced in kind. So new single light double doors in both openings to replicate what's currently there. On Dove Street, the one door was stolen from the opening, but they still have one historic door panel still in situ. And then, retaining and repairing all of the existing trim work and dental detailing and frames where possible. So I think that's.
So what's left of the doorway on Dove?
Let me pull it up. So,
Is it what's in the packet?
Well, there's a metal door and a plywood closure
So-
on the exterior surface of the building.
right, and what we saw at the July 7th was that the plywood has since been removed. And this is what is currently existing, is the door and then the surrounding historic trim, framework, and transom.
So they want to take that outer door, existing outer door out.
So what they are proposing, and the package that Dan had provided, let me.
The door and side light.
So this is the Dove Street main entrance, which is
J Street.
J Street, yes, thank you. Which is returning the opening to its original size, retaining the side lights, panels, transom, which previously, last year, when we reviewed the application in September 2021, the proposal was to remove all of the non-original material and the historic material and put in 2 large doors with 2 large side lights. So this is keeping the historic material and putting back in a set of double doors, which this is the existing opening. So the blue system that's currently in there is a much later modern addition to the opening. I believe it was either fiberglass or steel, I can't remember which, but.
It had also been packed down at the head because it was shorter than the original opening. And the proposal was fully filling the opening back to its original size.
And then this is the secondary entrance on J Street. It's a non-functional, it's now non-functional. It is to an apartment unit, and This still also features all of the historic trim. The proposal here is to install, and the same for the Dove Street entrance, is a new single light aluminum entry door with a single light side light that fully fills the existing opening, retains the trim work and the transom that's currently there.
And it will serve as an entrance from J Street into a unit.
Dan, do you know, is it going to
Yeah,
be functional?
It'll be a single unit, to be able to use that entrance.
Is the glass gonna be like a frosted glass, or is it just gonna be clear glass?
We're calling it clear glass.
I guess the big question is, why did they go to a single leaf, 3-foot door and a side light if this is a secondary entrance to an apartment rather than the equal sized pair of doors?
The opening would be only about 2 foot 4 inches. They'd have to be the two openings would be 2 foot 4. We thought that was too narrow for the door. I mean, again, it's functional, but it's quite narrow for somebody to even carry things in and out of it. So we thought that maintaining a 3 and using the balance for the side light worked pretty well. It doesn't match the original. The same question was asked by Aaron, why did we go to a single door versus the original double door? And you have to take over the dimensions. The total opening is 5 foot 2 1/4, and that includes some trim on both sides. So we have a 3 foot opening for the door, and the other opening is 1 foot 8 1/4. No, that's not even open. That has that goes out onto the trim a little bit, but again, it seemed too narrow for us to maintain the 2 doors. That's why we want to have a 3 foot door in there. We don't think it looks out of place there. Again, I have to try to visualize that with a 3 foot wide door and a 1 foot 8 side panel. I don't think it looks out of place. If the commission insists that they want to maintain it that way, the applicant be willing to maintain the same type of doors that we're calling for here and put 2 doors in there.
It's right there.
Can the 2 doors, if they're moving a couch in and out, can both doors open? Is it the situation where one door is just generally kept bolted shut?
Yeah, well, I don't know whether or not that second one is functional.
But you could create, I'm saying that it was built as 2 hinge doors. You could put in 2 hinge doors, keep one bolted, or repair that to make it functional. So that if you're moving a couch in and out, you can open both doors. And if you're day-to-day walking in and out of your apartment, you just use the main door.
Well, again, when you say original, we're not absolutely certain. Nobody's really certain.
I'm not saying, sorry, wrong word,
Yeah.
old.
Oh, okay, yeah. But even, we think that these doors have been replaced a number of times since the first conversion to apartments.
Yeah, that's not, my point is that they're old wood doors that if or replacing kind, I'm just saying that layout.
Well, again, we could do that. We thought we wanted the 2-inch section in the middle to, make it a more steady operation rather than having two leaf doors join up to each other. So that takes 2 inches away from your.
At some point, since that is on the ground floor, and admittedly it now has the steps into it,
Yeah,
but with a change to that, somebody might want to be there with a wheelchair. And you might have one of those large versions of the wheelchair.
they won't get in.
And they would much rather have one door that's simple instead of trying to get 2 doors together. So, I mean,
We hadn't thought of that, but that's a good point.
But it's not a grade level entry.
No, you'd have to do that, but
Construct a ramp or something to accommodate a lift.
And
yes,
is the
you would
interior
have to do that.
apartment designed with handicapped accessibility?
the number of apartments are handicap convertible, they can be converted to handicap. There, I think, are 3 or 4 fully handicap constructed units in there, but there are a number that can be converted to handicap.
Are those doors in real bad shape? Those the existing wood doors, are they repairable?
We don't think so.
Did you guys look at those doors when you were on site?
Yeah, you seem okay to me, but
Yeah.
I can't remember if we went through them. I don't think we went through those doors.
No, we only
No.
looked at them from the exit.
No, we just walked
viewed
by
them
them.
from the outside.
They weren't in terrible shape. I mean, anything can be repaired, basically, but I didn't think they were in terrible shape.
No, they didn't appear to be falling apart.
No. You see it right there, they're not falling apart. Then you need some, repair, some good repairs. But the opening it's an existing opening, and it may not be original, but at least it's historically appropriate. If you keep these two, this double leaf opening, it corresponds to the front entrance.
Yeah.
Double leaf entrance there. So you have some unity on that facade.
Well, on the front entrance, we thought it was essentially
Mm-hmm.
quite important because we're able to keep so much of the trim in there so that, having that door was a natural to have us put back the 2 full doors. This one, there's trim in there, but I don't think there's any original trim at all. We go right out to the brick, we have to, we move that stuff and rebuild.
Well, you're proposing the same treatment, this side is on J Street, so on Dove Street, you're proposing to just do the same treatment with the 36-inch door on the side light, is that correct?
Yes,
There is a significant amount of that trim still remaining on Dove Street.
Yeah.
So it's gonna heavily altering the original appearance.
well,
or the
again,
thought to be.
we'll follow the direction of the commission, but our goal would be to have these doors approved that we show them here, and if in fact there's other desire by the commission, we'll follow your lead. We broke this project down into really 3 different approvals. We got the approvals for all the windows other than the first floor. Her took care of the doors, and this is the basis of making it closed and functional for the winter. The first floor windows, we're still working on. We're having some problem with what I call transom and transom. That layout of windows is just not an easy do-over. They're just not available. So we have to really work on getting those. We're trying to figure out which ones are reasonable, and we'll come back to you with proposals for the first floor windows. But we separated out because we haven't found a solution for those type of transom windows. So our goal would be to get the doors approved so we can get these in and get the site winterized.
These doors at the main entrance, they're replacement in kind with the historic wooden doors. They match. The drawing's a little off scale, but they match the historic wooden doors. And that's what I thought I read in the packet, is that you're replacing.
These are aluminum doors.
These are aluminum doors.
Yeah.
So, here, this is a little bit easier to see. So, these are the non-original, it's
Right.
fiberglass or steel, and then this is all historic material.
Right. Sorry, I got it. I misread. I thought that there was. So you don't have a source for a wooden door replacement for the Dove Street entrance that's missing a door, or if you needed to replace the doors on J if they were not repairable. I guess I'm saying I would personally love to see you take a look and see if you can find a door that matches the one that was stolen and fix those and keep those secondary entrances with the historic layout they have. And, does historic Albany have a door that looks like that one that you can fix and put back?
again, we're not certain what door we're trying to emulate here. I mean, again, there've been,
Well, there's a door right there.
I know, but we're not certain that door is even consistent with the same doors that were on the J Street entrance. Again, they seem to have been put in possibly at different times, and they're not really, if you go back to the Dove Street doors, those doors are different, entirely different. They were put in as a method of getting a closure there, and I, quite honestly, we're hard pressed to go back and rebuild the existing doors. That would really be undertaking for us that we don't think we could do well, and we prefer to replace the doors. Now, if the replacement has to be in wood to try to match the original, I'll go back to my client and tell them that the aluminum doors aren't acceptable, and aluminum doors are acceptable. We thought aluminum doors were an acceptable material according to the HRC regulations. So, and we prefer an aluminum door because from a maintenance standpoint, they're easier to maintain.
Can you go back to the secondary J Street entrance, those windows? I don't see a compelling argument for taking out old wood doors and putting in a completely refigured entrance. And I guess on Dove, I don't see a compelling argument for eliminating all that trim, taking out the remaining wood door and putting in something different. So I guess.
Yeah, I think on this door, the trim on the J Street door is elaborate and consistent. It's, it's fluted design and everything on it. This door, we're not certain that there are any elements on there that have the same sort of need to be retained. And I believe that the applicant does not want to leave the existing doors. The existing doors are not thermodynamically acceptable. An awful lot of air leaks through them. They're a lot of heat loss through them. They do want to change the doors, and their preference would be to change them with aluminum doors. Their preference would be a single door on the sideline rather than two narrow doors.
And they want the wall to match.
Yeah. But if the commission does not believe that replacing this with one 3-foot door and a 1-foot-4 side, window on the side is acceptable, and they want to stick with the 2 doors, we'll send it back to the drawing board.
I think you need to, in my opinion, stick with 2 doors for opening. I don't have a problem with them being wood, or could be wood, I would prefer wood, but aluminum would be fine, but they need to be double doors.
Yeah, I would.
In matching,
Yeah.
in matching the configuration that's there now. And, if we go with aluminum for the front entrance, the main entrance, I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, repairing is the best thing. Replacing those 2 in wood is the next best thing. Putting it in aluminum is the 3rd option, and I personally am willing to go with aluminum, but they need to be double doors for both this secondary entrance on J and the one on Dove. It's there.
Yeah, I would agree, although I would also say on Dove, do what you're doing on the main entrance and preserve all the trim.
Mhm.
All of that decorative trim, so you're doing what you're doing on the main entrance and inserting the new aluminum doors that are gonna be, dark bronze.
Yeah.
And
I think
keeping
there might
the
be a
rest of the
difference in condition of the trim on this door, the condition of the trim on the front door. When you take a look, if you take a look at the existing condition of the front door and eliminate the doors, but take a look at the trim there, and that trim looks in pretty acceptable condition. It's scraped and clean and look very nice. But the trim on the other doors, I don't think is of the same quality, so.
Well, maybe we need to walk by it, that looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah, it
historically
seems-
appropriate.
And the other door on the J Street elevation, the secondary door, if you zoom in on the photo, that has a dental mold as well. So,
The transom ball.
yeah, the transom part.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'll just,
So I think all of the surrounds are date to when the building was converted to its residential occupancy. And that those, treating the windows and the main entrance on J Street, it should be consistent with how we're treating the other openings. And the same consistency with the surviving trim elements.
so Marilyn did put in the chat, she says, my recollection is that the doors are repairable. Preference would be to retain or replace with with matching two panels per opening. And I know that, some did not had issues with the packet. I know I touched on this, but the notes that were sent post-site visit to both Dan and the applicant were as follows. The Dove Street entry must match the previous configuration of 2 single light entry doors. The transom and trim must be retained. The new doors must match the existing doors as closely as possible. The main entrance, the non-original door and side lights can be removed along with the non-original trim that flanks the door system. The original side lights, trim, and transom must be retained. The new door must fit within the original opening. And the non-functional J Street residential entry must be replaced in kind. The new doors must match the existing 2 single light entry doors as closely as possible. So those were the very specific recommendations that were discussed at the visit and then sent to the applicants afterwards.
Erin, did that say replace them with wood doors? Was that your first opening statement?
It
You said
You said
replaced
in
in
kind.
kind?
It says in kind. So,
The applicant really believes they want to use aluminum doors rather than wood doors. Yeah, I just want to, regardless of you insisting that they keep the original arrangement of the doors, save the trim and the transom and everything else, they still believe that they would like the doors to be aluminum.
I don't have any problem.
Well, I tend to agree with Commissioner Pink. It's a commercial building, aluminum doors are more maintainable and durable. We'd like to see wood, and that's certainly our preference, but for consistency in the building, since you have to replace the main entry, and you're doing that, you've chosen aluminum for that, then it could be handled consistently on the other J Street and the Dove Street entrance.
I agree. I feel most strongly about maintaining the trim and the configuration and.
Right.
Are we allowed to ask that the doors be salvaged? And so we could say, for example, that when they take out these old wood doors, they could go to Historic Albany, so at least they're not going in the landfill?
We have no problem with that.
it's better condition.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The doors, the inner doors, although we don't review it, but I'm just curious.
The inner doors on,
Dove Street,
Dove.
are they being kept because they appear to be wooden,
This is
double doors?
another set of doors internal to it. And quite honestly, the floor plan's going back and forth between removing them or leaving them, and a lot dependent upon, they want the space in there so that there's a space for warm air inside. So it's either leave those doors or do something else internal and move them back. There's a very short distance in there. It really doesn't make like a lobby. Again,
the vestibule.
yeah, you're right. You normally have a vestibule that would be deeper than that. So they're still working on resolving that floor plans. I have not finalized the first floor plans.
Just keep it in place.
What's that?
You've
Just
got,
keep it in place.
Well, you've got a
Yeah,
don't worry about
step, you've got a step there as well.
Yeah.
There's a floor level change
Yeah.
at those doors.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
That's another complication, you're trying to
And
enlarging that space.
we have to regrade the main entrance floor slab anyway, because again, we had to grade it, the grade didn't go, so. And the question is, at the same time, do we move those doors further inside to make a more functional vestibule? Because you have, a lot of people coming in and out, we don't want them running into each other in vestibule, right, they gotta close one door and open the next door. So those are all decisions that go beyond what we're talking about regarding replacing the visible doors from the outside.
Yeah, I was just curious.
What's that?
As a historic preservationist. I was
Yes,
just
yes,
curious. I deal with everything inside and out, but we deal with the outside.
Once the doors are closed, we don't see the vestibule door, inner vestibule doors.
We often refer to those front set of doors as snow doors.
Oh, yeah.
Hear that?
Yeah. But the real door is inside.
And the other doors.
Yeah, that's like a storm door. Yeah. Well, I think, Dan, you've heard certainly the sentiment of the commission. I think we probably want a motion for this since a decision has to be made.
Would you do you want staff or planning department's recommendation?
Sure.
Do you want to hear it? So the planning department is recommending partial approval. Approval for the replacement of the J Street main entrance, the restoration of the opening to its original size, and the retention of the original trim, sidelights, and transom meets the general guidelines and the rehabilitation guidelines of the historic resource overlays. And the planning department recommends denial of the replacement of the J Street secondary entrance and the Dove Street entrance, as they do not meet the general and rehabilitation guidelines of the historic resource overlay. The proposed single light door and side light do not replicate the design and configuration of the historic doors. And the entrance proposed doors should match the existing in kind with a new double door and retention of existing historic trim, side lights, and transoms.
So the planning department recommends, even with approval of the aluminum doors on the main entrance, that would recommend denial of maintaining the configuration, but putting in aluminum doors on these two secondary entrances?
It should retain the configuration. It can be an alternate material, but if they can be repaired, I think the commission sees fit to have them, the wood doors retained, that's perfectly fine as well.
I know it's not my position to try to recommend changes to your resolution, but if the two secondary entrances could be aluminum doors too, with aluminum on the main entrance, it would make much more palatable for me to go back to the client. We failed on doing your single door with a side light, but we did get approval for the aluminum doors. Gotta go back and retain that and the transom, all the details in the transom, but you could lose the aluminum doors. I think that would be more palatable to my client. I know we don't really have to please them, but again, I think the rest of it we're okay with. I'm okay with, because I'm the bearer of bad tidings back to the client.
Well, I could take a stab at a motion.
Please.
All right, so I recommend approval of the main entrance as presented, which is removal of the old configuration of the non-original configuration, we're putting back, restoring the trim with the aluminum, the dark bronze anodized aluminum double door configuration as presented under A101. And then for the J Street and Dove Street secondary entrances, I don't know if this would be a conditional approval.
Like,
I'll go with conditional approval based on, we need updated, an updated drawing like this for Aaron to at least review, that retains the trim around the existing double wood doors and the transom, and replaces the existing double wood doors with aluminum, dark bronze anodized aluminum doors that match the original and maintain the existing configuration of the double doors in size and shape. And that any old wood doors removed as part of this be given to Historic Albany Foundation for salvage.
Shouldn't that be a recommendation, not a requirement?
I don't know, that's.
Assuming Historic Albany wants to
Assuming Historic, be offered, we recommend
be offered.
that the developer offers the doors to Historic Albany if they would like them.
I've worked with many projects with demolished buildings, send an awful lot of material to Historic Albany, and it, gets reused, an awful lot of it gets reused.
Right. It's their call if they want it, but I would like to be on the record, our recommendation
I
that
just want to go
those
on the
doors.
record that I would object to boards requiring, it's a material that's owned by my client. If they want to sell it to somebody else to use rather than giving it to Historic Albany, they should be allowed to do that.
Okay, yeah,
So
no, that was
It's
just, I haven't
just a
done that
recommendation,
before,
it shouldn't be required.
fine.
it is within the regulations and the purview that HRC can do that.
So we could require, I'm fine with just recommending it, I don't know what the rest of the commission feels, but I'm fine with saying we recommend.
Okay.
Maybe we strongly recommend that they offer the doors to
Doors
Historic Albany.
either be retained on site and stored carefully
That's a good
for
recommendation.
reuse by the owner, or made available to an alternate purchaser or
Salvage.
salvage.
Right. So we could say, yeah,
Okay,
Doesn't have to be Historic Albany, it could be another salvage company.
so we recommend that the existing old historic wooden doors not be put in the landfill and
That's basically
somehow
what we're saying.
Right.
maintained.
Second,
World's longest motion.
Got all that, Aaron?
Yeah. Luckily it's recorded, so.
Okay. And millions of
Do
YouTube
we have
viewers are watching.
do we have any comments from
We did not have anyone signed up to speak this evening, and we just double check to make sure that, we don't have anyone.
Okay, then I think we can call it to a vote.
Need a second.
Lee second.
Lee seconded. All those in favor of the motion as read and seconded?
aye.
Aye.
And how does Marilyn?
I heard-
Commissioner Kaplan vote?
I heard an aye come from your computer.
Come out of the screen? There she is.
Very quiet.
not over, they have a super majority, a super, group here, we have a super majority, unanimous approval.
All right, the motion is carried. We look forward to successful outcome.
Thank you. Have you, anyone down there and looked at the windows of them for them in 175?
Are they all in?
What?
Are they all in?
I think
The upper floor.
all the upper floors are in, there might be a few missing, but they're pretty much in. Take a look at them, they look pretty nice.
Yeah,
I go, down by
swing by there. Look.
Okay, take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron,
Yes.
whatever happened to, the project that I missed? The
153 South Broad Street?
Yeah. What was the outcome of that?
It was approved with a number of conditions, that John had outlined with,
Closure of the upper cornice.
Closure of the upper
Basically,
cornice.
some reveals, building up the cornice, you know, a reveal, a recess where it abuts the existing building.
Or you mean the addition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The addition of the elevator or the stair tower. And
Yes.
the bands at the floor levels be projected out maybe like an inch, just to demarcate
Yeah,
that
floors.
as well.
That's nice.
So I think just playing around with the, you know, a good mason, playing around with how they lay it up. And actually having a recess where it butts the building makes it a lot easier, because trying to scribe that block to the brick wall would be a really nasty looking thing anyhow. So the recess helps.
What about the stone?
Basically, the restoration, replacement of deteriorating pieces, restoration of the surviving ones, restorable.
Do you recommend that somebody, well, not us, but maybe the architect review samples and all that stuff? Because I'd hate, you know.
But I think we suggested they bring, I mean, particularly for the block work on the stair tower, have a sample panel set up in the parking lot next to the building.
Okay.
And then, I guess any other samples that they, you know, as they get into the project and have questions.
For us to look at? Or for the architect, or for their architect to look at?
No, I think the way that the condition is written is that they were providing me with information that would then be distributed to the HRC.
Okay.
Right.
I think with like the stonework, they have sourced and have been working with a consultant to do the restoration work
Repointing too.
and the repointing, so.
I think they're working with Ganem. I think they're working with Peter Ganem.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
And
this was
also
in
that
minutes before spring, I believe, that's what we got to too.
the brick band where the cornice work was missing.
Up on the front.
Yeah, front.
Yeah.
Front, it wrapped the ends of the building,
Mhm.
but that recommended that as long as they're up there replacing it, that they come up with some profile that begins to emulate what was there originally, if not exactly, something that comes reasonably close, because there's a large gap underneath the upper bracketed molding
Okay, yeah, I
back to
remember.
the brickwork, so that there are gaps they need to seal with whatever they're doing up there
Right,
to assure the water tightness of the building.
right. Okay, sounds good.
Sailed on through. Do we have any other items that come before the commission?
I do
Now
not.
that we have a supermajority?
I have two questions. I'm like coming out of the ceiling or something, huh? One is, Aaron, any progress on the new hiring? And two is there any schedule we should be working on with our report for the council for the emergency demos?
We'll have it in before the end of the year. It's in a very long list of other documents that need to be put together. So I'm hoping that at least within December, we can have it in,
Okay,
if not before then, so,
we have a bunch of work to do to get it in, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I can't remember everybody, didn't last time, John and Aaron, didn't we give a draft to the other commission members and then kind of make some tweaks on the recommendations?
Yes, we did.
Okay,
So we have 3 more meetings left this year, so we can
okay.
get it in.
Okay.
Well, when you're ready, just let me know.
Yep. In terms of hiring, I don't know if everyone has heard, we're going through a reimagining of 200 Henry Johnson Boulevard. There's going to be a neighborhood services department that'll be, like the ribbon cutting will more or less be January 1st. And so there are a number of positions that are coming through for that. So until the budget is passed this year and we kind of have everything situated, we won't be hiring as of right now. We do have a senior preservation planner position that is going before the Civil Service Commission at the end of this month. That will be to have that position officially approved by the civil service so that we can then put it out for exam and hire people for that position. So once that is officially approved, we probably will have it posted and then start that process for interviewing and hiring in the beginning of 2023.
Can I ask a procedural question? Wasn't that your title before?
Mm-hmm.
So why does it need to be approved again? Is that being approved as like a new line, or isn't it an existing line?
It's a modification to the senior planner position. So it's a more specialized, it has more specialized qualifications and a role.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it previously wasn't approved officially or why, but it's not on the books. So it'll go at the end of this month. But
That all sounds positive.
yeah, so, and with the new neighborhood services department, it'll hopefully be able to kind of help people navigate, the services that are in this department with the building department, the planning department, and Albany Community Development Agency.
Oh,
So,
Did I see a notice on another one of those, a set of ethics exams or workshops like we had the last time? I saw something come in. I remember doing this a very short time ago.
we had sent out an email, I think at the end of last week.
Yeah.
John was registered for it. CDRPC is holding a workshop conference on October 28th. And part of that, I think there's a number of like different planning topics, and I think one of them may have been ethics. It wasn't required, it was just.
This is not a new mandate, federal mandate.
No.
Or, state mandate.
No,
Okay, so we're covered on that.
you should be fine, yeah. I mean, Department of State does offer on occasion training for land use boards and open meeting laws and ethics, so. If we do have that, I'll let you know.
Got a refresher course
Or
over
if
2
I-
years.
Yes. Okay.
Keep us posted when you need assistance on the report to the common council and the mayor.
Yes, I will.
All right. Any fellow commissioners have anything to bring before the body?
Nope.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Will we adjourn?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you, Marilyn.
hi all.
Are you someplace fun?
I'm in Tucson.
You in the library?
Oh,
yes.
You just have too
I'm in
much fun.
Tucson with that little baby, with that little 9-month-old baby, babysitting.
Oh,
Yeah,
Your children have a baby?
Zoe. Zoe has a baby.
Zoe has a baby? Oh my gosh.
they do that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.